Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin released the DMK manifesto. While the party also announced a list of candidates for the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, the manifesto promises statehood for Puducherry, a ban on NEET exams, granting the Chief Minister the power to appoint the governor, and the Citizenship Amendment Act and Uniform Civil Code will not be announced in the state. Meanwhile, yesterday Prime Minister Modi had held a massive rally in Salem. It was Prime Minister's sixth visit to Tamil Nadu this year and the third campaign in the last 3 weeks. Well, as the Lok Sabha polls inch closer, parties are trying their best to reach the halfway mark. Meanwhile, the real power is in the voters' hand now. The question that arises is, what will people of Tamil Nadu choose? The DMK's poll promises or Prime Minister Modi's development model? We'll talk about this with our guest. Joining us on the show is Mr. Savio Rodriguez, BJP leader. S.V. Ramani, Congress spokesperson, also joins us on the show. Rajalakshmi Joshi, political analyst, with us on the program as well. Last but by no means the least, Professor Madhav Nalapath, editorial director of the Sunday Guardian, also with us on the show. Professor Nalapath, I'll begin with you, sir. Well, so, it's the case of been there, done that. A lot of these states, a lot of these parties, will make loud and large promises to the people which stand in contrast to what the central government has been pushing. And this might just be a spike to garner votes. But the fact of the matter is that when you oppose the CAA, when you oppose the UCC, this becomes a big deflection point between the center and the state, which already is a cause of concern. How would you rate or how would you characterize, these carrots that political parties come up with, which seem defiant at first, but not practical in the end?
Vineet, I'd like to point out that, I know Kanyamuri. She's a wonderful personality. She's a poet. She's a writer. And may I say that she's drafted a manifesto. The only problem with that manifesto, and it's a very major problem, the majority in the Lok Sabha, as I understand, is 272. Even if the DMK sweeps the table in Tamil Nadu, it is not going to happen, I can tell you. I think the BJP will do pretty well. AIDMK certainly is not going to get a zero. They get a maximum of 40, 41 seats, right? There's a big difference between 272 and 41. And this manifesto is written on the basis that this alliance, I'm not going to call it the India alliance because India is our country, it belongs to everybody. It just doesn't belong to a bunch of political parties. They can name themselves India, but they're not India. I mean, India is a huge construct. And frankly, I think it's a little, it's some advertising agent's, brain that got them to think of that name. But the fact is, the DMK, NEET, what are you saying? You're saying that those who live in Tamil Nadu cannot get admission to medical colleges across India and across India. You can't get admission to JIPMER, you can't get admission to one of the best medical colleges in the world, Manipal. You can't get admission to any of these medical colleges unless you go through that NEET. So you're basically condemning Tamil Nadu students. If you really can banish NEET, I don't believe it can be done. The courts will stay. You're basically telling Tamil Nadu students who want to be doctors, sorry guys, you can't be doctors if you're in Tamil Nadu. We won't allow it. Now, governor. Now, the fact of the matter, this is going to require a constitutional amendment. Now, surely the DMK realizes that Tamil Nadu is not got the number of members of parliament in Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha to have a constitutional amendment. And in fact, even in their wildest dreams, I don't believe that this particular alliance, again, I don't want to dignify the name that they are given to it. I think it's frankly wrong to give that kind of a name to a political alliance of a few political parties. But to talk about a major constitutional change like this and to promise it to the voters of Tamil Nadu who are voting for an assembly election, Puducherry, as a state, is that Fort St. George? Does the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, is he the authority to grant statehood to Puducherry or anywhere else in the country? No. So frankly, it's a lovely manifesto if this particular alliance crosses the mark at which in Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha they can do whatever they want with the constitution. The entire manifesto of DMK is based on the premise that the alliance of which the DMK is a part is going to sweep the 2024 election. Now, who else believes that? How many people in Tamil Nadu believe that? I'm not sure. I mean, maybe Mr. M.K. Stalin believes that. Quite likely, maybe. His son definitely believes that. There's no question. Judging by some of his statements, statements which frankly I am quite surprised by, that a constitutional authority should utter a statement. Perhaps he believes that. I don't believe that you will find 1,000 people in Tamil Nadu who believe that this alliance is going to be in a position to ride roughshod over the constitution and to basically sweep the polls, the Lok Sabha polls all over India in 2024. The entire manifesto is built on the premise that the INDA, the alliance, will sweep the polls. Sorry. And about NEET, you're going to ban NEET? Look, why don't you say you will fund any student who wants to apply for NEET? That's something productive. That's something constructive. If you are a student in Tamil Nadu, we will fund you. You pay the NEET fees. We'll pay your transportation cost from wherever you're living. That is a positive move. But to say banning NEET, first of all, you have no power to do that. Secondly, it's not legal to do that. I mean, this is a great manifesto, frankly, if you're in a movie. The fact is, in Tamil Nadu, movies have played a very important role in politics. But in real life, I'm sorry, is different from real life. So in real life, this may be a great manifesto. In real life, frankly, it's a totally unreal manifesto. I don't believe voters of Tamil Nadu are going to be taken in by this at all.
All right, Savio, the idea to change the constitution to lure and woo the voter, I mean, this is literally bordering on morality, isn't it?
You know, Vineet, I think there's a larger issue that we have to look at, which is more subtle than what is making it out to be. Because what DMK and what MK Stalin and team are trying to really create is a situation of anarchy and separation of the functioning of a state vis-a-vis the center. That is really the underlining message of that entire...
And Savio, how can a state decide to create another state within itself?
That is exactly what I'm talking about. That is exactly what I'm talking about. They're trying to create a situation, an anarchic situation, to create a conflict between what is considered to be the federalism of this country. They want to create a trouble. They want to show that Tamil Nadu is a separate state and a separate entity, slightly different from India, and therefore they don't want to even accept the constitutional provisions that are available in the Constitution of India. The mere fact that you've listed down certain aspects like the change of governor, the chief minister will appoint the government, an ability to amend the constitution from a state level. MK Stalin needs to understand, firstly, as Professor Nalapat has clearly stated, you don't have the majority. And are you saying that the other members of your alliance are going to accept that? Which means if you started in Tamil Nadu, are you going to do the same across the other states that belong to this alliance? Is there going to be an attempt to destroy the federalism of this country, where state and center relationships for years have been harmonious? That is the real problem with this manifesto. The problem with the manifesto is a very diabolic intent of Udayanithi Stalin, MK Stalin, and Kanimozi as well, the entire DMK, to foment trouble in what is a unified approach to India. That is what they want to ride home. Please understand that that family is known for its relationships with people that were questionable even the time of the conflict that happened between Tamil Nadu and Sri Lanka. So I am not surprised that they are looking at a very anarchic route to solving their problems, and that is why they want to create a Tamil Nadu center divide. When you look at NET itself, Are you trying to say that basically the doctors in Tamil Nadu are supposed to be only doctors within Tamil Nadu and they're not supposed to look for a career outside? So it's trying to create an absolute anarchist situation where the state is a nation on its own and is not answerable to the center. That's what he's trying to do, but he's not going to win. He's not going to get the majority, and neither is the alliance going to get it. So these are basically MK Stalin putting himself in Udayanidhi Stalin's shoes and thinking, just like Professor Nalapat has said, that this is a movie to appease the voters in Tamil Nadu. It will see no fructification.
All right, Mr. S.V. Ramani, what do you make of these tall promises? And do you think that when it comes to, getting votes and crossing, that golden number that's going to put you, in comfort, doesn't know any boundaries when it comes to Tamil Nadu? Be it the freebies, be it the attack against Sanatan Dharma, or be it these, inane promises that are being made now.
Well, I heard Professor Nalapat's great oratory and also the wild imagination of Rodriguez, that Stalin is trying to get away from India and form our own country, then saying that, he doesn't look into the constitution. What they have failed to understand is that it is time the people of this country has realized, and also some of the people who are talking in this channel should realize what Abraham Lincoln said, that you cannot fool all the people all the time. The people have understood that Mr. Modi has fooled this country for the last 10 years. Now, I heard both of them speaking. The subject was on the development agenda of Modi. Unfortunately, they had nothing to talk about the development agenda of Modi.
No, that was not
even
the discussion.
Just a minute, please.
Let him
That
finish.
was not the
Savio,
discussion.
let him finish. Savio, come on.
Please,
Savio,
let me speak.
Savio, come on.
Let me speak. Even Mr. Modi, in the last 2 meetings in Tamil Nadu, did not have anything to speak on the development agenda, because there is nothing for him to speak on what he has achieved in the last 10 years. People have understood that all the oratory, he is a master of oratory, he is a master of deception, he is a master of deflection tactics. Now, all the existing problems in this country, including the problem of corruption, as far which in the bonds issue, he knows that he is on the back foot. The mood of the country is changing. He knows that he is staring at not even about 150 to 160 seats. I'm telling you this with all the seriousness I have, because if you want to talk about numbers, state-wise, I can tell the numbers. So the India, again, you don't want to talk about India alliance because you are afraid of India alliance. The India alliance has consolidated in major states in this country. Is it Maharashtra? If it is Tamil Nadu, West Bengal now, maybe it will be finalized anytime. In Bihar, in UP, everywhere there is a consensus amongst the partners in the India alliance. India alliance is looking at a majority in this election, and that is the reason why confidently Mr. Stalin and the DMK party has come out with a manifesto which can directly influence the parliament, which can directly make laws in the parliament, and which can repeal those laws in the parliament which are not being liked by the people. Now you are talking about NEET. You said that people cannot come out, people cannot get medical education outside. Even before the NEET, most of the students who were reading in most of the universities like Manipal, etc., were from Tamil Nadu. Because this is the state of intellectual. This is the state of one of the best youth students available. And they have had medical education in all the major states in the country, including AIIMS. So even before NEET, they were studying. So just because it is NEET is not there, and if you don't accept NEET, they will not be able to study outside, is not an argument which I'll accept. Modi ji has to answer questions. The people have started thinking that they have been fooled for the last 10 years by the various announcements that have been made. This has been an announcement government, but this government did not come out with any schemes to follow those announcements which made. That is the reason why this country is looking at a
Okay,
situation.
let's
where
get a
one of the
response to
worst
all
employment
all
positions
right. Let's get a
possible
response
is
from
there.
Raja
The
Lakshmi
country
Joshi
is looking
to all the
at
allegations that you
farmers
have
who is
made.
trying to fight
Right.
for their
I
interests.
appreciate your confidence as well. It's not every day that you get to hear something like this, that
No,
the Bharatiya
if you
Janata
want
Party
me
is
to
not going to
elaborate on
come.
why
So
I am confident,
one
I
second,
will tell
sir.
you simply
Let
a
other
simple
people also
logic.
let other people
A
respond
simple
to.
logic I'll tell you, out of the 130
Okay, fine. I'll come back to you,
the
sir. This is
southern
not the
region,
end. This is not the end of my, asking questions to you. Let's involve Raja Lakshmi Joshi into this conversation as well. She's been waiting very, very patiently. Though I do entertain the idea, with full levity, that the India Alliance is going to come back to power. Raja Lakshmi Joshi, what do you make of the allegations that have been made by Mr. S.V. Ramani? And let me also say this, that we should not write off anyone at this point in time. Though the Bharatiya Janata Party may be very, very confident and ready and poised to come back for a third term, stranger things have happened in the past, especially in politics. You never thought Arvind Kejriwal will take up politics, right? You never thought Nitish Kumar is going to go back to the BJP. So it did happen. So let's give Mr. Ramani's statements and his predictions some level of seriousness.
Good evening, Vineet. And yes, I will try to take it with a lot of seriousness. It is very amusing to hear all these statements. What I found badly lacking in the DMK manifesto is that very firstly, they are supposedly a part of an alliance. This thing called as INDIA alliance. I will not get into how it should be pronounced, etc., etc. So this alliance, so did they even discuss with them about a common minimum program? This objection is not being brought up by me, but it is being brought up by the Congress' own senior leaders. That is the very first thing, Vineet. So, they have come out with this manifesto as if they are themselves in this race by themselves and not in an alliance with the Congress or with any of the other alliance partners. So they have very smartly or very sweetly put up a lot of points. Now, coming to the actual contents of the manifesto, let me tell you that, some of them, I would say that, they have been extremely lazy in it, in the sense that they have literally actually copied whatever was there in the 2021 Assembly poll manifesto, and they have literally put up just that. Starting from the NEET to the petrol and fuel prices, and a whole lot of things, they have simply copied it from that. They have not even bothered to change it. And in fact, there was a very amusing moment when, the DMK head, Mrs. Stalin, he was asked some questions about the manifesto. And can you believe it? He said that actually I have this entire book and I've not read it. So I would request you to read it. And there is this entire manifesto. So that is the kind of lazy.
So it's a copy-paste job. It's a copy-paste job.
Yes. And another part of it is they have simply added these things about then objections to the CAA. They have put in objections to the NEET and even to the, so all these things, how can they do it without any changes to the constitution, as rightly pointed out by Professor Nalapat and even by Savio? So, these things, this is a very separatist kind of a tendency. So this is something that they actually should have discussed with a lot of other people, and they're talking about citizenship to,
statehood to Puducherry.
Yeah, statehood to Puducherry, and also citizenship to people from Tamilians from Sri Lanka. Now, these are not things that they can take decisions as a state. So they have probably got confused with what kind of a manifesto they're preparing. They probably thought they're preparing a manifesto for their own state elections. And, this seems to be all over the place, and they're talking about, basically, they wanted to make a statement about Tamil pride, Vineet. Now, this thing about Tamil pride.
You're absolutely right. And Professor Nalapat, why are they punching above their weight?
Vineet, I just wanted to add one more point. Just one more point.
Quickly.
Yeah. So, see, now, Vineet, now it's very strange when they talk about how they're going to bring up all this Tamil pride and all. Let me just remind you that the DMK was a part of the government in the Atal Bihari Vajpayee Sarkar, and after that in the UPA, and then they have been in power in the state also for the last so many years. Now, what did they do for this so-called Tamil pride? And in fact, on the other hand, I think that it is actually PM Modi who has been taking Tamil language globally. He has been showcasing Tamil culture globally. He has been putting
Okay.
it out there at
All
the
right.
G20.
All right.
So
Professor
all of this-
Nalapat, are they punching above their weight? And, all these expectations to garner votes, to what effect? This is very divisive. This is extremely bipolar to me in terms of, what you're promising and what can actually be achieved. It can be construed as complete hogwash.
Well, Vineet, I'd like to say that Sinhala fanatics in Sri Lanka, the same kind of fanatics who basically drove the Tamil language to a very low point in Sri Lanka, and who basically ensured that Tamils could not get any kind of jobs, major jobs in Sri Lanka. They must be delighted with this. They must be delighted because now they can say, Stalin is talking like, now let us send all the Tamils that are Sri Lankan Tamils. By the way, almost all the Tamils in Sri Lanka have been there longer than the Sinhala, who many people say came from Odisha, a very beautiful state, of course. So the Sinhala fanatics will be very happy. Yes, all Tamils should go to Tamil Nadu. They've been saying this for the last 100 years. So now Stalin is saying the same thing. Come to Sri Lanka. Don't stay in Sri Lanka. Come to Tamil Nadu. Now, Afghanistan and Pakistan, he wants to abolish CAA. What he means is everybody should be allowed to come in. 100 million people. I can tell you, I'm not joking. I've had my researchers work on it. If Afghanistan and Pakistan, you allow everybody to come, believe me, between the estimates that I have got, 46 million to 94 million individuals from Afghanistan and Pakistan will move across the border to India. Maybe Stalin wants about 20-30 million of them to come to Tamil Nadu. I don't know. Stalin may be a very generous and welcoming person. I mean, certainly his father was an amazing guy. Rhythmic Tamil, he was brilliant. I listened 2 or 3 of his speeches. I couldn't understand a lot of what he was saying, but it was brilliant. The audience was enthralled. Stalin, I don't think, is a rhythmic Tamil expert, but look, we are talking about nearly 100 million people. If you dilute the CAA, the way this iron, whatever alliance wants it to happen. Is that logical? Is that realistic? Then let Stalin announce, we welcome 25 to 30 million people from Afghanistan and Pakistan to come and settle in Tamil Nadu. We welcome all the Sri Lankan Tamils to come and settle in Tamil Nadu. Believe me, every Sri Lankan Tamil will be angry and upset at this particular point. They want to stay in Sri Lanka. They are Sri Lankan. They have a right to Sri Lankan citizenship. And that right, frankly, needs to be, and now, thanks to Indian diplomacy, that has been ensured. In that, I would say PM Modi has played a very big role in ensuring that Tamils are given justice in Sri Lanka. And that's what they deserve. Not, basically giving a green light for all of them to be pushed across the border into Tamil Nadu, plus another 20-30 million from Afghanistan and Pakistan into Tamil Nadu. That, in effect, is what this manifesto is talking about. I'm not talking about the words. I'm talking about the effect, Vineet.
All right. Let me, in fact, take concluding thoughts from Savio and Mr. Ramani as well, and then we're going to end. Mr. Ramani, to you, sir.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is, again, I think the imagination of Mr. Nalapat is going wild, because what the manifesto of DMK speaks is about the refugees who are in India in the camps for the last 35 years. He is not talking about all the Tamils from Sri Lanka. And again, the imagination is so wild that he's talking about millions of people from Afghanistan and from Pakistan, etc. Sir,
Will you give him an opportunity? Will you give him an opportunity to respond?
He talks about the refugees who are suffering in the camps.
Mr. Ramani, will you give him an opportunity to respond? I think when people come to panels, they all bring in their respective imaginations as well. Professor Nalapat, please respond.
These individuals should be sent back with honor to their own country. And that country should not be encouraged to send more back. This particular thing will encourage them. Mr. Ramani, I'm not talking in a legalistic way about your words. I'm talking about the impact of words. And the impact of words is different from a legalistic way of looking at the matter. And number one. Number two, each of this Shastri Cinema Pact, it was wrong in my view. I've written that several times. Why on earth should Tamils be sent across to India? They belonged in Sri Lanka. And Sirimavo sent so many hundreds of thousands of Tamils to India, to Sri Lanka.
All
That
right,
was
sir.
wrong.
All
It
right,
was
sir.
wrong then,
All right, sir.
and it is
All right,
wrong
sir.
now.
All right,
The
sir.
refugees
Quick.
should
Okay.
go back to their own country.
Okay, all right. Rajalakshmi, 10 seconds and then we end with Savio Rodriguez. 10 seconds to both of you. We have completely overshot.
Vineet, it's actually amusing that the refugees from Sri Lanka will be only the ones who are actually there as refugees already here. But the refugees, whoever we are talking about in the CAA, is going to be the entire of Pakistan and Bangladesh and Afghanistan and everybody. So when it comes to the CAA, it is going to be an extreme economical toll on the entire country. But when it comes to the Sri Lankan Tamils, it is going to be okay.
All right. Savio, quickly. Savio.
Vineet, I have the highest regards and respect for all my Tamil sisters and brothers. But unfortunately, for some reason that I haven't figured out right now, they have a craze for movie stars and movie stars who turn to politicians and politicians who think politics is just like their movies. It's not the same. The reality is different from real life.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.